Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. Finn's American History class. We're very close again, so I'll try not to yell into the camera so that it's super loud in your ears or when you turn it on. But I wanted to bring you back to our map because today we're talking a little bit about Jamestown. However, the most of the lesson is going to be about timelines because some of the timelines that I got back in different classes were a little off, and I just want to make sure we do it the right way and that moving forward we have an idea of what's called chronological order. But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's get back to U.S. history and where we were at. Now, if you remember, we had Columbus and Cortez and the Spanish. Spain is right here. We're coming over to America, and this is the area that they come to America. Across the Atlantic from Spain into here, this is where we had the battle between Cortez and Montezuma and the Aztecs. We talked about smallpox causing a lot of damage. And now, part of your assignment was to get ready for today was to look at Jamestown, which is going to be from England. England is up here. England's going to send people over to the Americas, but they're going to come to right here, not all the way down here. And there's a big difference there because England and France and Portugal and Spain all are on the water, and they all see Spain getting rich off of the gold that they found down here in Mexico. So they think, hey, all gold is everywhere in America. Let's just get over there and we'll be rich just like Spain. But that's not really the case. So we see England come over here and set up colonies, meaning people are going to live there, but they're going to be considering themselves English still. And they're going to colonize this area and live there under the flag of England. Now, Jamestown is our first colony for England and America. This is what's going to start our United States story. So this is what we're dealing with on the map. Now let me give you a little bit of insight on the difference between the two, and then we're going to jump to the timeline so that I can give you today's assignment. So hang on one second while I take you on another journey. All right, here we go. I had a cord, so here we're moving back. There you go. All right, here we are. We can say goodbye to our map, and we can say hello to a couple of notes, the difference. I want to explain the difference between Spain and England first. Spain versus England. Now, there's a big difference here because we were talking about conquistadors for Spain. And in Spain, we had these soldiers who were, in their, 18 to 25 range, and they were looking for adventure and, gold and titles and land and everything. England is going to be a little bit different. England is not going to be made up of conquistadors or soldiers, but they're going to come over as families. So you're going to have women and children also come over with England. And now this is a big difference on what is left in the damages of these European countries coming over. So if we look at Spain, they're going to be young men. And it's a lot of young men. And what is going to happen is they're here in America, and they're around these indigenous people, or the native people, or the Aztecs of Mexico. And as they start to settle down, like any young men of the time, or even today, they're looking for a person to spend their time with. So these young men will marry native women. And so as these young Spanish conquistadors marry and mingle with the Aztecs, you are going to start to see a new culture develop where the people are going to be a mix of a lot of different things. In Mexico, even today, you can see people living there who have blue eyes and blonde hair, black hair, darker skin, lighter skin. There's a blonde hair, red hair. There's a big mix of different groups. Because as these people come together, they're bringing a lot of different genetic DNA and codes, and so you get a whole host of different people. Now, that's Spain. And Spain is, again, going to be in Mexico. It's New Spain. They're going to be mixing with the indigenous people, creating a new culture that we'll get into a little bit later. But really, just to give you a brief idea of England, England is going to be totally against mixing with the native people. And England is going to come here and set up colonies like Jamestown, which is going to take us to our date. England in 1607. Jamestown. In 1607, Jamestown is founded. It has, again, women, children, men. They come looking for gold, but there's not a lot of gold here in the area that they land. So they're left to try and farm. The soil was sandy. They had a really rough go of it in the beginning of their colony. And the important thing for today is just to understand the difference between the two. Spanish are down in Mexico. They were conquerors and soldiers. They are starting to set up their own plantations and colony of their own, intermingling with the native people. England is coming to a very different place, as we saw on the map, in modern-day Virginia. Jamestown is going to be a colony where they're scared of the natives, and they don't want anything to do with them. Next time we're going to talk about how things go at Jamestown, but again, today the important thing that I wanted to get to was this timeline, and the idea of what's called chronological order. So we're going to keep it very simple for today. What I want you to do is make a line on a piece of paper. All right. This line on a piece of paper is going to represent things happening in order. So for example, today I am here teaching you. Tomorrow is a new day. Next year is a new year. So I'll erase it, but let's just say on this timeline, I make a line. This is the year 2020. Now, if I wanted to go back in time, I would go this direction. So if I said, hey, on the timeline put 2019, you would go back this way and put 2019. If I said, I want to go all the way to the future, I want to see what it's going to be like, not in 2020. So I say I want to go to 2025. I would put a mark out here that said 2025. That is the line showing you the time of events in chronological order. One thing happens after another. For us in history class, it is important because we are dealing with a lot of events and we want to know what happened first, what happened afterwards, why did this happen, what in the past can show us what was going to happen in the future. So for example, what I want today is just 3 dates on a timeline. Is 3 going to be? 3 might not quite do it. Let's do 4 dates. So let's do 4 dates so I can see that you get the idea of chronological order. 4 dates. But I do want to keep it within our lesson, within our scope of what we're talking about. And I just gave you a date. So we're going to start with 1607. So let's just say I'm going to put 1607 right here in the middle. Now on our timelines in class, we always make sure to identify what happened at that date. As we know from our notes, we saw that Jamestown was founded. So we write Jamestown founded, meaning that it was created or started. So Jamestown was founded in 1607. Now we draw your picture representation of it so I can see what you think. You might have to look up a picture, but I can tell you that there would be a wall that would look like this. That is not a very good picture of a wall, but that is kind of what it would look like. You'll see if you have to look it up, which you do, to show Jamestown. So Jamestown's here at 1607. Your assignment to turn into me so that I can see that you know what I mean when I say chronological order and what side to put things on. 4 dates. It can be 1610. It could be 1630. It could be 1575 would be on this side. It might be 1610 over there on that side. If I have another date that's after 1610, then I would have to go further into the future. Meaning if it was 1620, I would then go to the right over here, 1620. If I was after 1575, I would have to say, okay, 1580, this thing happened. So, to the future, we go this way. To the past, we go this way. And so we are going to say at 1607, what I want today, Jamestown's founded, give me a picture, and then find 4 dates that are around 1607 to put on our timeline. And you're going to have a picture, and you're going to tell me what happened on that date. And you know what I do want for full credit? This is also something that we miss a lot of times. I want color on the pictures. Okay, you've been doing great work so far. I look forward to seeing the timelines. And once I know that we have that in order, we can then move on with our story of Jamestown and how the English are going to colonize all of America. Have a great day, everybody.